Hi, I'm Al Howland. I'm a Durham Town Councilor. There are 9 of us on the Durham Town Council. We're elected by the community each March, and we're on 3-year staggered terms. And the way it works is the 9 of us together have power, but each of us individually have none. And so when we meet as a group, we come to decision and provide direction to the town manager. And the town manager is the one, Todd Selleck, who actually runs the town. He works with the fire department, the police department, and public works to keep the town running. And it's actually kind of similar for school kids, what the school board does with the school superintendent. And so the dam has been really one of our biggest, most controversial issues. About 10 years ago, the town council made a resolution to just allow the dam to continue till its useful life. But over the last 3 years, the state of New Hampshire sent us a letter of deficiency with the dam. And what that said was that the dam could not withstand the river flow of a 100-year flood. And so we had to do something about it. And so that really started us to look at what our options were. And then the second thing we had noticed is that the pond or impoundment above the dam, the water quality had really begun to decline. And so what could we do to improve the water quality of the impoundment? And so that led us to actually meet with the town of Exeter. They had gone through the process of reviewing and they ultimately decided to remove a dam. But we really wanted to talk to them how they came up with the process of deciding what to do with the dam. And so when we did that, we came up with a recommendation to meet with an architectural firm, VHB, and they really specialize in dams. And so we sat down and we talked with them and came up with a scope of study, it's called. And so what we were really looking at is ultimately 2 options. The first was, could we stabilize the dams so that it wouldn't fall apart? And then the second one, it would be if we remove the dam. And so their study was really extensive. It involved looking at the actual structural elements of the dam, what needed to be fixed, what would need to be done to allow it to last another 50 years. And then on the other side, they did extensive study of the river system, all of the sediment flows, how the water flowed, and everything. And so they took about a year. And they came back to us with a long report. It's about 159 pages of what the 2 options would look like. And so that just recently came before us, and we had public comments where the community began to give their ideas about it. And when we thought about it, the question that kept coming forward from the people who really wanted to keep the dam is they said, we think we can keep the dam and not have to dredge, because one of the elements of keeping the dam and improving water quality was to get all of the sediment that's collected over the last decades and pull it out. And it was 11,000 cubic feet of sediment. To put that in perspective, that's about 800 dump trucks worth of sediment we'd have to pull out, which is really expensive. So they said, no, we think that there's ways that we can actually keep the water or improve the water quality of the impoundment and not take the sediment out, and that would allow us to keep the dam. And so we said, okay, we'll look into it. And so right now, the council is putting together a scope to actually investigate that question. And that'll come to us in mid-April, and we'll vote on it. It's likely that the study would last between 6 and 8 weeks. And cost somewhere around $40,000. And that study would allow us then to answer the question, could you keep the dam and still improve the water quality of the impoundment above it? And so why that's important is because what we found from Exeter is the most difficult thing dealing with a problem that's really important to a community is to answer all the questions so that we can have closure, so that regardless of whether you wanted to keep the dam or whether you wanted to pull the dam out, we had done our homework and presented a case that was clear so that each side could live with what the ultimate decision was. And so in the fall, it is likely the town council will then make a decision. It will fall on the 9 of us that will vote on it, and that will then lead us in 2022 to either stabilize and repair the dam or to take it out. And so it's been a really, really interesting scientific, community, historical perspective of everybody getting together. And I would say what really impressed me the most about this process so far is the civility of which people have worked. I mean, in this day and age, it's often we hear about people arguing or yelling at each other, and that's not really been the case here. It's really been where we've allowed science and historical people to present their case and present their evidence, and then the town council then can weigh in on what's the best option for the community.